Well, now please welcome the man instrumental in the passage of civil rights legislation, Congressman Robert Matsui of the state of California.
Thank you very much, Ann. Distinguished guests and members in the audience. The other day I was in a bookstore in California, and I happened to see a new book that's currently on the bestsellers list, the New York Times bestseller list. It was written by Richard Ben Kramer, and they entitled Joe DiMaggio, A Hero's Life. And those of you who are in your 60s, 70s, and 80s probably know that in the 30s, 40s, and early 50s, Joe DiMaggio was in fact an American hero. About 5 years ago, I picked up a book, and it was called America's Heroes, about America's heroes in this last decade. And I was surprised because when I opened the book, it was Michael Jordan and Madonna. I also had a chance then to think about what really is a hero. And I went all the way back to days of mythology. A hero is really not Madonna or Michael Jordan. It's somebody who happens to be an ordinary person, looking like every one of you in this audience today, who in times of stress, when your country or your community is under attack, transforms himself into somebody extraordinary and achieves such a feat that in fact he saves that nation or that community or that country. And I look out in this audience today and I see really, truly America's heroes. Those that fought in the 442nd Combat Troop, those who served in the Pacific with the MIS, and those who struggled their everyday lives, making sure that in those 4 years that they were locked up by their own government, that they in fact were able to give confidence to their children and make sure that they remain loyal and really defined what citizenship, true citizenship, is all about. And I speak to those of you, like my mother and father, who struggled when they were in their teens and 20s during that very dark days of World War II. Because really, this day is dedicated to all of you. Because you are truly America's heroes. In 100 years, when historians write about this period, the 20th century, they will not forget the fact that there were 120,000 people of Japanese ancestry, 2/3 of whom were Americans, who basically committed their lives to this country, either overseas or by being patriotic citizens in this country while they were locked up behind barbed wire fences. And so, generations from now, when your great-great-great-grandchildren visit Washington, D.C., they may, with their friends, come upon the stone memorial. And their friends will say, "What is that? What is that piece of stone here?" And they will smile, and they will say, "These are about my ancestors. These are about my great-great-grandparents, or my grandparents, or maybe even my parents, because they were truly America's heroes." Thank you for everything you have done for America.